Hi, good evening, everybody. Would you settle down for a second, please? Thank you. I'm 2 minutes late and behind schedule as usual. I'm gonna call the meeting to order, please. Thank you. And thanks everybody for coming. First order of business is roll call. So Louise Platt, Susan Vance, Margaret Higgins, Gary Johnson here, Tatiana McClure, John Barrowman here, Ed Quick here, Judy Soft, I believe, is online.
Here.
Yep. We see you. Great. So that does establish, of course, a quorum. All board members are present. And again, thanks to everybody here. We thought we were putting out too many chairs. We were right. But that's okay. Everybody comfortable? Everybody can hear everyone okay and see everybody okay? So I really don't have a president's report. I'm kind of getting a little tired of saying month after month things are getting better. So I'm not going to say that, although I think that they are. I'm going to let the committee chairs give their reports, which will, I don't want to steal any of their thunder because there's kind of a lot to go through tonight or this afternoon, this evening. So I will say that I know that Louise has to leave a little bit early, so we're going to probably squeeze the landscape committee report in. Tanya Lindell had a last minute commitment, so I will be giving the insurance report for her. And I think that's about it. I really, like I said, don't have much to say this evening in terms of the entire community and how things are going. We'll address them in each area as we go through them if you'd like. So with that in mind, I'll turn it over to Susan Vance for the January minutes report, January meeting minutes, I mean.
Thank you. And I make a motion to approve the
There's been a motion to approve the January 25th, I believe, 27th, January 27th meeting minutes and seconded. Is there any discussion by the board? Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Meeting minutes are approved for January 27th meeting. Treasurer's report. Gee, I didn't even have a chance to see who's going to give this report.
I don't know, but I have something in my mouth.
Oh, well. You want to pass the microphone down to Ed while he's swallowing?
Sorry about that. Okay, so the Treasury's report, have total operating funds at $15,077. 32,000 of it was operating cash, 7,000 was petty cash, and then we have due to reserves about 25,000. That's how we get the $15,077.22. On reserve, total reserve fund with the $25,000 contribution is $393,685.59. We have about 19,000 accounts receivable, 71,600 in prepaid balances, and $32,428 in prepaid assessments, putting us at a negative $407.59 for income. From a budget perspective, because it's the first month of the year, we're in pretty good shape. Nothing's been over. Our total spend is about 95%, or I'm sorry, a little shy of 5% of the total budget. We should be at about, which puts us in a favorable position. But again, it's 1 month. So I know I did that quickly at a high level. Question.
okay, so I'm looking at the balance sheet for January and it says due to reserve $25,133. So do I understand that is, we took from reserve that amount of money to pay RO, which is an operating expense, so that we owe the reserve $25,133 already, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to be sure everybody knows we're into the reserve fund already. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Ed.
Sure.
Any
Any questions?
I was hoping that our year to date for 2024 would actually decrease. Doesn't appear to be the case. From last meeting, I think it was around 95 or 96,000,
Correct.
and it's gone up to 103.
I think it's gone up. The end of last year.
Operating, I'm sorry, just looking at, I'm looking at operating expense. Sorry,
Oh,
never mind.
looking at the expenses, I would say to hold off because the accruals for December and going into the first of January.
Okay.
You're gonna hear
Great. Are there any questions for this? I'm sorry, for Ed, from anyone on the board? Any comments from the public? Ed, thank you very much. There's a question about business and finance chair that is still ongoing, and who that individual would be. Ed and I and some other folks might sit around afterwards. I'm not prepared to put forth any nominations at this point, but for the time being, Ed is treasurer and business and finance chair. Correct, Ed?
Yes.
We go with that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Let me step back 1 second, and there was something that I was going to say. I'm preaching to the choir here. This is really for the folks that aren't here, that will never hear this. Everyone up here spends a lot of their time. We're all volunteers. We're doing our best. We may not be perfect. We may not answer your requests immediately, but they are getting put on the list, and we are getting to them in sequence or in order of a priority. We are addressing everything. I'd ask that you be a little bit patient and a little bit more respectful, maybe, in some of the requests, and less accusatory in terms of getting things done. It's really hard sometimes to get out there and respond to somebody that is treating you like you're a redheaded stepchild, for want of a better term. So,
you don't have any hair.
well, with that in mind, and again, the folks here, I know you're all on board with this, but if you don't have the work order request, maintenance request, flow chart, architectural request, whatever request it is, flow chart, and you are not following it, something's wrong. I'm sorry, but a year plus has gone by now, and I'm not going to quote unquote jump, nor is Jim or anyone else on the board when someone calls at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, unless it's an absolute emergency. We just can't. We just can't put everything aside and run up and take care of whatever it happens to be, a weed or a branch hanging over your entryway. Believe me.
You've had it.
Yeah, these things, they come up. So if you want a copy, here it is. Please feel free to get it. So,
May I say,
yes, you
we
may.
posted that flow chart. Susan posted the flow chart last week at every bulletin board by the mailboxes. So everybody goes to their mailbox now and again. And if you don't have it, if you take a look to the right, it's on the bulletin board.
We might have an older version up there. Nancy Swain has pointed that out, but we'll get the right one up there. We might.
Better to have one than not.
Yeah, I know, but the one that's up there is close enough. Okay. With that in mind, let's move on to, what are we moving on to? Where are we? Financials for January 25? We just did that. We just did that. Chrissy, do you have anything to report?
Are we done with finance?
I thought we were.
Just want to make sure. The report is in your.
Right.
Anybody have any questions, comments, changes, additions to the?
Mm, Again, I'm far behind on everything. I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page in terms of quotes for landscaping, quotes for automation of the line system.
Filter.
Right, let me just run down the list of all the bids that I
Okay.
have on my end. So I have, we're getting landscape monthly service contract. We're doing the sprinkler system upgrade. We're doing the plan repair 7, summer bids. We are doing trash service and a well chlorinator. That's what I have on my end.
What was the last one? I'm sorry.
The well chlorinator.
Yeah.
Those are what I have on my side for a list of bids that you're looking for so far. If there's any that I missed.
Sam.
What about Sam? Sam,
Yeah. So that might have, I sent you a number of things about a month ago, and what's in there. Right now, all we have is a bid from Smith or Smite for the water tank filter, and we were going to contact Lucas and some other folks about
Reached out, I haven't. Yeah. The only other thing to do is go out to other engineering firms, see if they're willing to come out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's not just an, no. So a chlorinator, we're gonna get into a little bit, but the addition of a sand filter in the line, is that, would we need an engineering study for that?
You mentioned the well tank. That's what I thought was the question. So where is the sand for the pool?
No, sorry, the sand filter is, between the tank and the well. It's an additional sand filter to remove and eliminate sand from the irrigation lines, not to mention our drinking water.
So that's something that
That-
Lucas from I should be able to recommend something.
Right,
You shouldn't need an engineer for
right.
that.
Okay,
That's just a matter of, and again, I did send Lucas a request for both the sand stuff that I mentioned sand in the line, and I mentioned the low part.
okay.
So I'm waiting for his.
Let's see if we can accelerate that. If I need to get involved, then I will. And I think the only other thing that's very, very new, we covered under new business, is a proposal that I got from Sparkle today on automatic chlorinated, no, not automatic muriatic acid and pH and chlorine level monitoring system for the pool. And we'll talk about that under new business. Okay. Anything else, Chrissy?
Not on my end. For now.
Great. Thank you very much. Anyone have any questions for Chrissy? Grab her after the meeting. So we'll move right into landscape, and that way you can get out of here on time.
Thank you.
Louise?
Do have a good bit to report. We had 2 meetings of the landscape committee since we got indoctrinated in January. And overall, we have about, give or take, 9 people interested in helping on the committee. And I'm really happy about that, because that's more feet on the ground and eyes around to let us know what's going on in all aspects. Number 2, RO, to catch up, RO tree trimming and pruning was accomplished this past month, a few weeks ago. They are to return in March, I believe, to bind the cypress and snip from the storm damage. Wanted to ask Jay if that is covered by our insurance.
No, it's not covered by our insurance, but it was part of.
But it's already been allotted.
It should have been part of the original bid.
It is.
Okay.
Please, before you move on, I think we need to remind them of things. One is, it's a very small issue, but the tree in front of Larry Marshall's Stuff.
Oh. Well, they may come back to do the stuff behind.
Yeah, they might, they probably do. God bless you.
Break that down.
I got it.
Okay. Thank you. RO sent in two proposals after, they were here last month. One was to cut down, this evergreen tree, 705 that they missed. I believe Jim and Bill, they could probably take care of that. Versus having them pay whatever it was that they proposed, but they'll need to come back and, grind down the stuff.
So what we've decided in the interim, and I haven't had a chance to talk about it, is we're gonna see if we can trim it and, save it.
Okay.
But some of it is still alive. So we're gonna cut dead branches off and water it and see if it recovers. If it does, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's a very, very easy tree to remove.
Okay. They also submitted a proposal of about $2,000 to spray all our evergreen. That is over 20, maybe 26 various trees and arborvitaes that have spider mites. We may probably be able to handle this chore ourselves, either by spraying with soapy water or thion on soap. So it's soapy water is preferable, but that might be just a band-aid. But we do have spider mites. We are working with Alfonso to mentor Martinez and getting our sprinkler system up and running. They were out today at 8 o'clock. I'm not sure what all.
Jim's gonna report part of
Right.
irrigation.
Martinez has applied the first round of herbicide and weed killer last week. The next spray is tomorrow. So that'll be accomplished. And as I understand this, after herbicide treatment, then the lawn will get irrigated, overseeded, fertilized, whatever the process is. And Alfonso will be working with the guys just to make sure they're on task, I hope. They say they plan to fertilize our citrus this week. I think the citrus needs to be fertilized every few months, and that has not been done. We will stay on them to make sure that they do that. A scope of work document was drafted up and sent to Chrissy last week to send out to the various landscape companies for a bid on landscapers at that. And also Martinez has been invited to give us a proposal as well for landscaping services. Thanks to Nancy Swain and Kim Eustace, we have the attention of the Salvation Army Regional Manager regarding the waste dumping and the wall destruction along the east road of our property. Supposedly, hopefully, the regional manager will be coming down this week, and a few of us will be talking to him, and hopefully we can come to some kind of resolution, whether it's fence. Don't know what's going to happen, but at least there has been a contact. Thank you, Nancy. I wrote to Alan Panther organization, who Jan and Pauline worked with a couple years ago to glean. And from what I understand, gleaning is usually at the end of March. I don't know how much fruit we're going to have this year, but I made that initial contact Friday. Jay, Jim, and Alfonso laid out the rocks on the lawns of the units by the north side of both gates in an attempt to prevent people from making U-turns on our grass. And they were out there picking up rocks, huge rocks last week to lay along the road. And that's it for Pitt. That's the thing. Yeah, it was one other one, and it was 666 for counting by the courts, if you remember. Oh, well, yeah. So
Is that in writing?
that's not right. No, that's informal. I'm not sure what we want to do with that. Well, I did talk to her, and I've talked to Alfonso about this as well. The plants along that little retaining wall by the carport were removed for a reason, and the water has been cut off. The water was oozing into the carport, and also the storage lockers. And I said, number one, we don't have the money to start replacing plants, whether she wants to buy them or not, is not the issue. The issue is the water. So what I offered was cacti. She goes, more cacti. So I just basically said, don't shoot the messenger. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I don't know if it's going to go any further, but I do tend to follow what Alfonso recommends. Yes,
My opinion is, yeah, irrigation was problematic there. We're not gonna recreate
interviews.
that problem by turning water back on that's already been taken out. We can hardscape it. If she doesn't want cactus, I can understand why she wouldn't want cactus, given where that is in relation to the walkway.
Right.
But, just a nice hardscape instead of bare dirt would be fine.
That's hard to go. Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to raise that. but
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not been raised
I followed
already.
up on.
Yes,
So I wanted to bring this up while I have two landscape companies who have not taken. Who's done both of them. One company just. More than
But I do want other people with me. I mean, this is
definitely.
beyond my
So
lane.
anything to do with irrigation. I think, if Alfonso's here, fantastic. If not, Jim. I would definitely love to be involved. Don't want to overkill it with 20 people. But
Right.
I think, 3 or 4 eyes on the ball would do the trick. I am available Wednesday. I'm available Friday.
okay, do you want to do like on Friday, one company, you want to do Wednesday and Friday?
Rather have,
Friday.
yes.
Okay, okay. So I will go ahead and let them know, so one company knows. Out to everybody.
Monthly walkthrough.
I'll be there, I'll be there.
It wouldn't hurt, Chrissy. I don't know the last time you did drive walk through, probably January.
I come through every 2 weeks.
You do? Oh, wow. You never call, you never.
No. I'm super sneaky, I don't tell anybody I'm here. I was gonna say otherwise I'll.
It should take.
Say an hour.
About an hour.
Hour-ish each, yeah.
As long as there's one spoke.
Okay, is there anything else on the board, for the landscape, report for Louise? Is there anything from the public, any questions or comments for Louise? Larry?
That's next.
You're welcome. It certainly was dry. I know it's not your responsibility to irrigate it, but if you have a chance every now and then, give it a drink. Okay. No such thing. Great. Anything else for landscaping before we move on to, maintenance?
I have a comment.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yes, Hilda.
I have a comment or a suggestion, because I know we have a lot of things to do with, the different companies that are coming in, but my suggestion is still to keep the time clock or get a time clock. It doesn't have to be the facial one, or the thumbprint ID. It just needs a time clock, because this way, I think right now, landscaping is just reporting hours to you, correct, Chrissy? So there's, no?
They fill out a timesheet here. It's done on paper.
It's done on the paper and then it gets turned into you. Who pays them?
I can't, but I.
We don't
but
pay anybody.
I review the time sheets every week.
If there was an issue, I know Jay would.
Well, anyway, sorry, I don't know how it was or how it is now, but, whether we have Steve or another landscaping company, I think a time clock would be good, and then those cards be turned in instead of calculating on a little piece of paper that is not always true. And, that's gonna happen with anybody.
Not a little piece of paper.
I know what it is. I worked with it with Greg.
Okay.
I know there's several pieces of paper that they turn in.
Yeah.
But I also know that the time that's written in the time, when I was working with Tanya on it also, and then previously before, there was a discrepancy. And I'm not saying that it happens all the time, but it's just easy to do. It's easy to do. And then maybe if they had a designated time for a break, they'll take under 5.
Yeah, it's certainly, I already, as you know, I think you might know, Eric, the very first thing I did here, when I got here in November 5th, November 6th, I bought a time clock.
Oh, you did buy one?
Oh, yeah. Installed it. Everything was ready to go, except it didn't work. Because it didn't, it needs internet.
Well, I have my internet on there now. I mean, I don't know if that
Believe it or
helps.
not, without your permission, I tried your internet. And it would not work because I called the company, spent a long time on the phone with them trying to resolve the issue. You apparently are a very sophisticated internet user and only have a 5G signal, and the time clocks are older technology. None of them have upgraded their software or their hardware, and they have to have 2.4G technology, which is a previous generation. So
Well, there is an app.
I tried those also. None of them worked.
So the time what about just a old-fashioned time clock?
An old-fashioned time card punch clock is the exact same thing that you've got now.
Yeah.
Anybody can punch in for anybody, and anybody can punch out for anyone. You got no control. Yes, Chrissy.
Or take it over by. If you look at the mind, those bars are like, move flat out.
Yeah.
They will be willing to check in with them when they're on site, check out with them. But something like a time clock.
I thought we had covered this at the last meeting. At this point, hey, can I guys have your attention so we can all get on the same page? I thought I'd covered this at the last meeting that right now, if we are going to continue with Martinez with the current contract, I fully and wholeheartedly agree with you, children, that we need a time clock because there is too much room for budging, arrival and departure times. The going with a new company, if we do that, it's a moot point. We will not need a time clock with a professional company. We will not need it with the contract that we're going to sign if we replace Martinez. So, I'll commit to you that I'll solve the problem of a time clock if we retain Martinez, and if we do not retain Martinez, then it's
Well, I'll change my
immaterial.
Wi-Fi if you need me to.
Thank you. No, I don't.
Or just like the phone call away. Yeah, you want me to.
We, move on, sorry. Sorry, two threads.
Well, I just wanted to make note of it. Thank you for that time.
Is there anything else from, what are we on, landscaping still? Yeah. Anything right?
Yeah, we can bring it later if we wish, but the TEP trees, I've got 4 of them sitting outside my place, and other than 4 TEP trees. We need to have a resolution about where they're going to go, who's going to look after them.
You're right. We said what we said, in January was, yes, please go ahead, get trees. We'll treat it as a pilot project, keep them alive until it's time to plant them. The time to plant them is upon us.
Okay.
So we need to make a decision, as a committee with recommendations from, I don't know what tree experts besides Alfonso as to where they should go. There's a total of 4.
I've got 4, and Alfonso has looked at them and said we have those trees already in the neighborhood.
Okay,
So
good.
they're an approved tree.
Good. All right. Anything else for landscape? We're taking up so much time, Louise. We'll move on to maintenance and, Mr. Young.
Oh, I have nothing to report.
Okay, thank you.
Very quickly.
You want a microphone?
No. Last
Yeah, it might be better
I took my time, Sam.
Very
Get to the
quickly,
government now.
I am still a committee of one, and Jay volunteers to help me. And if anybody would like to help out, it'd be great.
Can I say it's not all hands in the dirt digging and lifting boulders? It's not all of it. Some of it's
work.
some of it's work, but it's not as strenuous as one might think.
Okay, since we last met, lights that we thought were fixed, went out again on the gates. And, we did find a solution, and that's taken care of. There have been 5 people that have complained about the urinal in the men's bathroom. None of them are men. There's been 4 requests by women about the urinal fixed. And I did order a part. I haven't had time to finish putting it in, and I think we're gonna have that solved. I've been going around working on the lattice boxes in front of some of the utility
Looks good,
messes,
too.
and some of them are really a big mess, and some of the lighting is a mess. And we are beginning to paint rusty light bulbs, light fixtures, and trying to tie down some loose wires and so on and so forth. We mentioned the fact that people have been driving on their lawns, and thank you, Alfonso, for allowing us to use your truck and your strength. God, that's strong. You know, lifting these giant boulders.
Yes.
Anyway, and then the last thing is that we were talking about the irrigation system. Alfonso met with Steve, not at 8, but more like 8:50. When he finally,
Shocked I am.
yeah, I know. I tried to get Jay to bet him that he wouldn't be there by 8. Jay wouldn't take the bet, but Alfonso did walk with the crew, and I wish he would report, but he doesn't want to be a bad guy. So I'm just going to say he was very exasperated with what went on today. It's very frustrating. Martinez, it doesn't appear to have any clue what's going on, even though he thinks he does. He doesn't know where most of the buried valves are that we need to stop leaks and to get things to work. He reported to Jay when he suddenly left that everything was great, was only one problem, and then he left. And Alfonso was under the impression that he would take care of that stuff today, but he's gone.
What about Jacob? Was he on task at all with this?
None of them understand what the irrigation system is, how it works, what turns on what, where it turns on. And they're hard workers, and I'm sure they mean well, but we really need, if we want anything other than what we see now at Dust Bowl, we need this irrigation to be working last week or even sooner. I don't know how Alfonso managed to keep his cool, because I watch him out there and, hey, come over here, and no, we don't need 3 people standing here. Come over here and get this done. And no, it's we really have a clueless situation. That's my opinion. And, we need to do everything we possibly can to get water on our grass and on our plants, and then to have somebody that knows how to trim them so they don't all die. And that's what I've observed since we've been here. If you want to help out, I've got little jars of paint I can give you if you want to help your quad, getting the rust off your pipes or getting the rust off your lighting fixtures. It's amazing how you get rid of all the bummer wires that are Comcast mostly, and a lot of phone company stuff, and touch up paint, how much better this place looks. And when people are trying to sell their place, it looks a lot different when you walk by and things are clean and neat and not sagging doors. And, you know, some of this stuff is 25, 30 years old, and it, you know, some help. That's all I have. Frankly, I will not take any questions. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, Kat, before public, we're going to get to some board issues. I'd like to just amplify, as we said in January, if every one of us calls Xfinity or Comcast for the phone company, whatever landline company use, and ask them to come out and remove excess cable and wire that is on the building. They will do it. It won't happen overnight, but they will come and do it. And unfortunately, I think I mentioned this, since we don't have an account for the entire community, it falls to each homeowner to do that. It's going to take a while, but you know, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So let's start eating the elephant. Jim's right. When those things, Jim's got the knowledge and the expertise to know for his building most of the ones that are superfluous. So he's actually cut them away. Not all of them, because he doesn't want to cut anyone's cable off. No, you know, leave somebody without telephone, internet, or TV. So what happens is every time somebody moves in, call Comcast, Xfinity comes out, they say, oh yeah, you need new wire. Yeah, and they put up a new cable up the side of the building, over the roof, and off into grandmother's woods. And and over a number of years, unfortunately, it builds up. It looks like not very nice. So I encourage you all to make that call, and hopefully we can slowly eliminate a lot of those. Yes, Jim.
One thing I left out is if you have a hose hooked to your hose bib that the neighbor put on there, please don't call JNI. Just last month, we moved 3 different water dispute garden hoses that somebody was unhappy about it, that were using mine, or it was hooked up wrong. And even pictures of hose, see, here's my house and it's going into their patio. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's it.
Okay. Anything else for landscaping from the board?
You're on maintenance.
Manscaping. No. Maintenance. Sorry. Thank you for maintenance. Kat, go ahead. Oh, Nancy.
Eat last about the Comcast cable. I haven't seen it.
The question is, have we sent an email blast out about the Comcast Xfinity cable? I don't believe we have, but we can do that. I'm always, you never know just what's too many emails and what's not enough. So I kind of err on the side of caution of not inundating everybody. But this one's kind of important, and we will include it in the very near future.
And maybe people could talk to their neighbors about it.
Exactly. Since people don't read their emails or attend board meetings, maybe talking to your neighbors helps as well. Yeah. Anything else for maintenance?
So it might come to where we have to, as a group, give Comcast license to be on our property, and then make them give us an internet connection and maintain these lines of what it should be. I don't know, other companies, other HOAs do that. You've got an idea.
No, it's just that the other HOA that I'm connected to, they have a collective, for a better term, arrangement with Comcast Xfinity, whereby you let them know individually that you've moved in, but the billing comes through Comcast, and it's a collective for the community, and it's great you would be surprised. So it's not an individual billing. It comes out of the HOA.
Comes out of the HOA. Boy.
Here we go. Way there, it's a lot less than the HOA. You get the quite includes internet, but table. I know it's amazing. We can help like that.
So I think what I'll just kind of summarize. So, and I've seen this in many other communities, rather than 120 of us having our own individual solutions, it's one account for the entire community. Okay.
Well, how does it work?
We're not going to talk about it now. It's a worm of cans I really don't want to open. Okay. Anything else for maintenance? Thank you. All right. On insurance, we had 2 different insurance inspections. I think I mentioned last month that only corrective actions for one of the liability reviews was we didn't have a properly charged or inspected fire extinguisher, so we bought a new one. And we didn't have any smoke detectors in the clubhouse, so we installed them. That solved that issue. We've got another liability insurance inspection. Got the report on February 20th. And there are four corrective actions that we have to do within 20 days. Those are all in process. One of which is the railing outside the steps in this clubhouse. We have to get some horizontal or vertical bars so nobody can fall through, such as a small child, off the steps or off. Yeah, I know. They recommended that no diving signs be displayed around the pool. Those have been ordered. They recommended that a sign be placed in the pool area indicating the location of the nearest 911 calling device. So, I ordered some, in case of emergency, call 911. That should solve that problem.
And we wrote Margaret's phone number up.
And the last one, I think as far as I know, this particular insurance inspector, Jim and Tanya were there. I was not there. Only sat in this clubhouse and said that a flotation device should be installed, separating all pool depths over 5 feet. So I believe he was talking about this pool, not the lap pool. So I ordered, and we're going to install a line of buoys that will go across the 5-foot line in the clubhouse pool.
Take a picture of it. See that.
Take pictures of all that, send it in. That should resolve that situation. The only other thing is a hazmat sign that we have to put up because of chemical storage, and that signs have been ordered also. Other than that, for insurance, Tanya says there's nothing to report. Are there any questions for insurance from the board? From the public? Yes, Mr. Young.
Back to those railings out here. Do any of you have anybody that you have access to somebody who can weld this material, or am I just going to go out and look like I am trying to find a welder that'll?
Yeah. So the easiest thing to do, rather than take the railings off, bring them to a shop and have some vertical or horizontal bars welded 4 inches apart, is to have somebody come out and do it while it's in place. If anybody knows a good welder, please let Jim know. Yes. We did talk about that as well. It's not expensive. It won't look good, but we could do it.
Get to the remarkable, right? I put that one ago and still.
I don't know which one you're referring to. It. I thought we were referring.
These two garbage tanks are higher. We need to have to go on top to put the garbage. Then I put two bars of metal.
Yeah.
And
We'll take a look at it. So if that's an easy solution, I'm for easy and inexpensive. That meets the requirement. I'm all for that. Yeah. We talked about putting cables there, which would also solve the problem. But yes, Larry. The question is whether or not Laramie's unit is within 1,000 feet of a fire hydrant. I haven't the foggiest. We don't have any fire hydrants on the property. They would all have to come from Los Lanitas or Roller Coaster, to my knowledge. Here. Okay, anything else for insurance? Okay, if not, we'll move on to architectural. Margaret? Margaret?
Thank you. Number one is to let you all know who the architectural committee is actually composed of. Our good friend Gary, Michael Ashton, who's been on the architectural committee for many years, and myself, similarly, I've been on that. So it's we three. This has been the busiest month in all of the years that I've ever been in architecture. So to report these, and each one of them has got some wrinkle in them. So I'll start with 666 has asked for a railing for when she goes out of her back door, so left-hand side to help her down the slope. Pavers or something similar underneath a bench that she has outside her back door so it can be raised in height. And I'm not sure how to describe the next thing, but we have all been over there about 3 or 4 times. The railing, I think, is a no-brainer. She's willing to pay for it herself, and it will be an attractive one that will be decided in conjunction with us. The pavers under the bench, we also think that could be accommodated as long as it doesn't interfere with some wiring that goes along the bottom of the wall behind where the pavers would be. And there's a sprinkler at the front. So the pavers, yes, but as long as those issues are accommodated. And then the other one was the concrete. I could only call it a corner, but the concrete comes out of the back door, and then she's got a concrete path going down to her carport. And we're thinking of some kind of concrete triangle might solve that issue. So one of them is an absolute yes. One of them is pavers under the bench. Yes, as long as the wires are okay. And the concrete corner, we're still working with them on how to actually achieve that. The next one, the architectural committee has looked at, and we are seeking board advice before I tell you what the architectural committee has decided. But the 720 want to put artificial grass at the front of the house. So the front patio, you walk along a paved path to get the front door, and on either side was aggregate. The aggregate has been taken up, and green artificial grass has been started to be laid until I stopped them. And I said, you haven't put in an architectural request yet. That has now come here, and I'm actually writing on the back of it. It's the first artificial grass request that we have had in this neighborhood. So I am seeking board guidance because it will set some kind of precedent for green artificial grass. And then I can, whatever you decide, I can tell you what the architectural committee decided. I want your guidance. I seriously do. 720.
Oh my gosh.
Right behind.
I know.
Basically, carpeting.
Board first, sorry. It has not been fixed down, just to let you know.
How much grass, Margaret? How much?
It's from the front of the house, with the railing, bordering the pathway.
Front patio.
Front patio, bordering the path. So it's about that wide on each side of the pathway going to the front door from the gate.
You know, I want to make only one comment about this, because people walk with the dogs, and dogs feel. And they don't
Inside the
and they're
patio.
tired. Oh, okay.
From the door to the gate.
You know, I just put it to, you know, pick up no area. So this is only my concern about.
If it's inside the patio, I don't know if other people's dogs are the issue.
Okay.
But let me just go in order, simply because I'm an orderly person. What is your view, Jay, of fake grass?
What if I have to go for it?
Put it there, I'm on there.
I'm split because I personally don't think it fits into the community. I don't think it's appropriate. It doesn't, in my personal opinion, look good. I don't think it should be approved. By the same token, it's in a unit that is at the far western, southwesternmost on the property, corner of the property. So no one would, quote unquote, see it per se, but I still am not, I'm opposed to it.
unless a tree falls down or is cut down, and then it will be visible. It's only hidden at the moment because of landscaping, but the landscaping is obviously fungible. So you think no?
I would,
I can,
not that we're taking
Coming
them
down
out,
for a minute.
but
Okay.
that's what I saw. It.
Gary?
Well, the emphasis has always been on living things, you know, and bushes and night grass and so on. I just think it's a jarring non sequitur. In some ways.
Are you a no then?
No.
No, you're not a no?
I am a no.
So that's positive.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
John, environment. What's your view?
Well, if you go across the street and look. The courtyard in front of Cemetery Church, they've had.
Yeah, the Peace Church, the church
Quite
across the
some
road.
time, and it's maintained its beauty, it actually looks pretty darn good. And, one of the complaints I'd heard about, the artificial grass was that it fades after a while or it crumbles up. What they have over there in front of the church, you know, with Sunday traffic and everything, looks very good. It looks like it belongs there. And you have to look twice to see that it is artificial turf. It has a decent enough appearance. So there have been examples of the astroturf and the artificial turf being installed. So it's very presentable. Gary's point about living environment in here is very well taken. I think that ought to be maintained. So I'm kind of opposed to the artificial turf that I have.
we'll have a stop there now.
Oh, have done it? Yes, no.
Yes,
You're going for it, you would say yes.
So I would agree that artificial turf would be acceptable, but the board should dictate the quality and in particular grass that can be used by the unit owner, allow unit owners to pick any product, to designate a product that's acceptable by the community, if someone wants to go that route.
Okay. I'll just play a bit of a devil's advocate if I may. If I put down a bright green carpet or rug at the front of my property, could any of you complain? Legitimately, you could. Why? If it's not fixed, I don't think you can.
Well, this is fixed.
this is.
It's not yet. It's not yet, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I think a carpet's a little bit different because it could easily be rolled up and removed and taken to your home at any time for any reason. This would be a permanent installation, which is a lot different than any kind of carpet, no matter the color.
Okay. So I've now got 5 people saying no, which is the majority of the board. I'll let you know that the architectural committee, 2 out of the 3 said no. So it seems to be a clear no from the board, and thank you for guidance. Ed, I actually do like artificial grass, and I thought about putting it in my place with your permission, but now I won't because you all said no. But Ed, I do appreciate your view, and that is that, well, it could be okay with conditions, but you've all said no. So,
We didn't all say no.
yeah, all right. The majority of you have said no. So do you or do I respond as quickly to? Okay.
And, you know,
Okay, perfect. So NH, perfect. But I do appreciate your insight because it is a first. Sorry, before we make a decision on this, it looks like someone from the audience is.
This is the front back patio also. I know that's the front patio. What about your back patio?
I believe that our rules and regulations say that if it can't be seen, then it doesn't have to be requested. So if they do the rear patio and it's not visible, then I believe that they have the choice to do that. So what can remember? At the front or the back? Ooh, 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 that's ooh, ooh. Do you have a record, a letter in your document saying it was approved? Well, I know that you've been there for years. I don't know if it's before you or during you or what. Ooh, what do we do about that, Chrissy? Can you guide us?
So typically, if something was done without the art approval, you would submit a request.
And so you're willing to remove if we deny? Okay, good on you. I like that. Yeah, whatever.
My question is just about, already asked, is it the front patio, the back patio, is it any part of outside your front gate?
But in this particular request is the front patio. What I'm not sure what your question is. At the front? Yeah, not in my anyway, 8 years worth.
So Diana, if it's a front patio, then there should be an approval process. If it's beyond the front patio, walkway, front area, it's a common area. Back patio, you can put cupids and butterflies in there, right? It's whatever you.
If it's not
Don't
visible,
need
you can do it. I understand that, and that's the answer. If it's not visible, you can do it. If it's visible, you can't. If it's visible on the front, it's a no as of this minute, a hard no. Board decided.
Question,
What?
historical society, I don't know if it's a.
Yeah, I don't think that, because it's not permanent.
Yeah, it's not.
So subsequent to that,
Okay.
subsequent to that request,
Yeah.
I believe that 720 submitted an additional request
What did they?
about aisles and sunken aisles, and it's in. I saw it on Town Square.
Have you seen it?
No.
No, we haven't seen it either.
We'll
Yes,
move on. We'll move on.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, time is not a problem, but as you will notice, I have had my front patio plan. I did submit the request to the architectural committee, and the others decided yes. Oh, thanks. Now, there is one other to discuss, which is 730, who's requested a concrete pathway to be put from the back gate through to the carport. And I've looked at it multiple times, and we've had the architectural committee, all three of us go and chat about it. And the last agreement was that because, and 730 is Judy, that we agreed that the architectural committee and the board would work with Judy to find a way to do something that is amenable to everybody that fits in with our community. And at the moment, she's got round pavers that other people have got, but these round pavers are just plonked on the top, and they are unsteady and they are unsafe. We have to do something. Now, right next door, the Stein family have got the same round pavers, but they're set into the ground and they're perfectly stable, and they meet all of our historic and cultural requirements. So the last that we'd agreed on was that we would work together to actually find a suitable answer, including a possible one, and that is to, I suppose, I don't know how to do it, but dig a trench and lay the current round pavers down and then fill it in so they are solid in the ground, stable, and still match our cultural sensitivity. So that was the last that we decided. So Judy, you are happy, as you were the other day, to work with us to come to an accommodation whereby it suits your needs and it suits the board and the architectural committee.
I'm willing to work with that. But the I'm not doing it. I need to go do everything well. It's been a problem for a couple of years.
I understand that.
I have talked to two people that have had sidewalks put in. Mary Ann Johns gave me a packet. She has probably 25 or 30
You know who she is?
No.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So Judy, without going into all the history,
Yeah,
we
we can't.
can't control what a previous board
Has
decided.
done, yeah.
I'm not saying that we're not going to decide. Well, as a matter of fact, it would be, but that's beside the point. What we're trying to do is apply the policies equitably across the board for everyone, so that, Judy, look, I'm not opposed to putting in a sidewalk, but this is exactly what's going to happen a month from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now. We're going to have 25 requests to put in sidewalks. Now, the rules and regulations actually stipulate that you have to go through a process, and it is the homeowner's responsibility. I know you offered to pay for it, but the rules and regulations actually stipulate that it's your responsibility if it gets approved. So I did send out a lengthy review of this entire situation to the board earlier today. I think that we should get together with you one more time. Let's take a look at it. If we think that the pavers will satisfy your requirement, fine. If we think that they won't, then we'll move forward. But I will say that according to the sidewalk addendum in the rules and regulation, there's supposed to be, believe it or not, an engineering study.
And
And
only if a person is fully, I understand, disabled, not able to walk around.
a note from your doctor saying they can see.
Yeah. So we want to work
that's-
with you to do something that will fit with our CCNRs and that will suit your needs without us going against our rules. So let's work together, which is what you said the other day you wanted to do. So let us work together on that.
Yeah.
Understand?
It's not going away.
Understand?
Or medical test to go. Worry about heart monitor.
Sure.
On the beach.
Yeah.
Between grass and rock and grass and rock.
Well, it wouldn't be grass and
No,
rock.
no.
It would be a paver in the ground, solid like the signs.
They don't have to be separate.
The other,
A rock. Surface, there's all match.
we will work with you on that. We're not going to look at the specifics now.
And
We will work with you on that. But can I ask, I mean, I do know that somebody else in the audience is willing to petition to speak.
No, I mean, I understand the situation. I guess I just need us to recall, we are not an assisted living facility. And if we had sidewalks all over the place to address individual people's needs, then I think we're gonna have sidewalks everywhere. And, if we can work with Judy and get something that works for her and for us, I think that's kind of the way to go. It's a tough situation because we all are aging, but,
What? Never. No, you're exactly right. That's what we discussed with Judy.
Okay.
And I have to say that if it does come down to a concrete walkway, it's the only way that Judy would accept. The architectural committee would say no because of what you said. So we want to work together to find something that gives stability and also fits with the needs of you and our community. So that is the response. And I think Jim has got something to say. As maintenance.
I would like to know how many potential sidewalks would need to be. I mean, there can't be that many new sidewalks. There's some unique situations around. I don't know
whether someone wants it or not. Potentially, it's 120. Well, 119.
Yeah.
Maybe a few, maybe less, but somewhere call it 100 potentially.
Mm-hmm. So we do have to work with Judy in every sense to satisfy her needs and our needs without breaking
The
CCR.
reason I'm asking it is when the,
Sidewalks don't break this. And that's the first thing you do is get a notice from your doctor. That it's required, that's not a rule. But they like disabled, fully disabled. Fully disabled. It says that we've got ADA here to think about, you know, and I'm not sure we're up on that.
We're probably,
So-
and the other thing, apart from what the rules are, look, I think everybody knows that this board, and I've been harping on it since day one, safety and security is our number one priority. So we obviously don't want anything bad. You or anyone visiting you. So we need to address it. We're going to take another look at it, come up with a solution,
Yeah.
whether it's in-ground pavers that are matched, in-ground pavers close together, pure, or whether it's a paved sidewalk. We'll decide that together. All right.
Yeah, we do want to work with you because you've expressed the desire to be included in the decision. Do you want Jim to have another word?
I just want to finish what I was.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
I have a neighbor who barely can get around. And I know we're not a assisted living place, but to me, if she does use a walker, and when you're going from the carport, you know, or to her mailbox along the carport pavement, where the curving is, where we have the no parking yellow that we don't have yet, there's a trench where the asphalt has, you know, eroded, and it's everywhere. And you cannot get a walker through there and up that thing. It just gets stuck there, and she doesn't have the strength to lift up. And so I've had to rescue her 2 or 3 times. And it's a simple thing I wanted to do was I was going to get some kind of compound and get rid of that trench, at least for her. But now I'm reluctant to do it because I may be in violation of.
That's not putting in a walkway.
That's
That's a
not-
repair of, you know, an eroded section of something or other. We'll take a look at that. I'm sure we can fix that.
So shall I, Chrissy, I will summarize this and send you an email about the 3 separate requests. Is that correct?
Yes.
Architectural requests.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, right, okay. Thank you.
And while we're at it, I just passed you the town square thing, but you don't need. to-
Yeah, I'll look at it later.
We'll include that as well because it's the request for the same unit that's put in the artificial grass, 720.
Like, explained on there. They did walk past my patio the other day and that's mine. And mine, maybe that's what they're interesting.
Okay,
Yes.
no, you may not.
Just- Engineer might be needed if we're going to insert walkways because of drainage issues. I mean, I've been around, yeah, I mean, it can create an issue.
Okay, is there anything else for architectural? Which actually was much shorter than what I anticipated, but because it's an emotional issue and as well as being an important safety issue. Okay, DNF, Ed, do you have anything further?
No, I did it with the treasury report.
Say again?
I did it with the treasury report.
Okay, great. Thank you. Cat, clubhouse rental.
Nothing new.
Let me just repeat what Kat said. Nothing new. We did have a rental in February 16th. Everything went well? Okay, great. Thank you. Parking was not a problem. I know that was a concern. Great.
Great.
Okay, Nancy, for liaison. You want to grab a microphone? Thank you.
Thank you. Lots of new updates regarding property transactions. The inventory has been reduced from a high of 7 casitas being on the market to 4 currently for sale. 1-bedroom unit, 662 roller coaster sold in early February. The new owner is now in residence and her name is Jean Filipich. And she has received an owner packet and a meet and greet session, as of yesterday. 2-bedroom unit, 747 Las Lomitas has sold. The new owner is Ed Quick. He will be taking on the much needed renovation work and eventually he will find the right renter for the property. 2-bedroom unit 729 Las Lomitas has been removed from the market. Andrea, daughter of Kay and Gary Campbell, and her husband Kent decided they love it here too much to part with the property. They will make use of it as their vacation getaway from Minnesota as often as possible. So that leaves 4 units currently on the market. 2-bedroom unit 621 Las Lomitas has a very interested buyer. The price has been reduced on 1-bedroom unit 641 Las Lomitas. It's now listed at $253,500. The price has been further reduced on unit 749 Las Lomitas to $340,000. And 3-bedroom unit 626 roller coaster remains on the market with a listing price at $324,900.
Great. Are there any questions for Nancy from the board? From the public? Thank you very much. Ruth?
Yeah.
Don't move.
I can drive over.
No. I need the extra time.
Okay, I just want to remind everybody that our St. Patrick's Day dinner is on the 15th of March, which is the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day. And already have, I think, 24 people signed up. The deadline for signing up for this is March 11th, which is a Wednesday. And I have to know on quantity of food and how to set up the room. So if you haven't signed up, please do.
March 11th is Tuesday. March 11th is
A week from today.
We'll need to correct that. Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm just saying.
Okay, that was probably 1924's calendar. If you would like to contribute a food item, I suggest an appetizer or salad or dessert. We're going to have corned beef and cabbage, an Irish noodle casserole, and we'll just see what else gets signed up for. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I have raised the guest price to come to these events to $10.
Good idea.
And I started a waiting list for guests because it isn't fair that we have a lot of guests and we have to say no to residents. And that almost happened with our Christmas dinner. So the best way I think to get around it is to have a waiting list for guests. And that way, when the deadline hits, I can call them and say, yes, we have room for your guests. So I hope no one is against that idea. And 5 o'clock on the 15th will be cocktail hour, BYOB, with appetizers, and 6 p.m. is dinner. So if you have any questions about it?
We're good.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Let's get everybody signed up. Okay?
I'll send my email tonight.
Okay.
You wouldn't have this problem. It's crypto.
Yeah. That's great. Now, Any questions from the board or Ruth for social? Any comments, questions from public? Ruth, I'm going to throw a little curveball at you, and this is only because Margaret had such a nice Christmas display on her wall in December. And I am not going to organize this, and I don't think Ruth could or would, but an outdoor movie night against that wall would be a cool thing to do. Everybody brings their own chair. Everybody brings their own libation, food, whatever. And we could literally put a projector and whatever movie we want to put up. I suggest it not be pornographic.
Debbie does Dallas.
No, Debbie does that. Just a fun thing to do, something a little bit out of the ordinary that takes very little work to set up. It does take somebody to organize a projector and some electricity and some extension cords and we can get the word out to the community. Anyone? No, we'd have to either buy or rent one, but, okay. All right. So moving on to unfinished business. We do have a bid for the well chlorinator. Now, the bid that came in is for an engineering study. It doesn't include the cost of the chlorinator itself. Is that correct? No, it's for an automated chlorinator. So, if you recall, there was a lot of discussion at the January meeting about automating the chlorination of the well water. Right now, now that Judy's in semi-retirement, I'm putting 10 tablets in every 2 weeks or so, 15th and 1st of every month. And it's an imprecise way to do it. We have asked for advice, and all the advice that we've received is that an automated system would be the preferable way to go, and it would ensure that we're in keeping with all of the AEQ, Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, and the Water Department regulations. We're sort of meeting it, but sort of skirting the regulations at this point. So the bid that I saw was a very extensive engineering study. I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000. I was shocked, quite frankly. I didn't think it would be that much. Is that the only bid that we were able to obtain so far? Do we have other requests out there? In that case, I would recommend that we table this till next month. We've been limping along like this for, I don't know how long, years? Yes, Judy. Yes, it was Judy Gould. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if there's never ever been an automated chlorination system. Yeah. Never was one. I'll report it. Oh, you didn't even put tablets in. One report and one bad report, and that's what. Okay, I think we need to get some more information, possibly some more quotes on the feasibility of doing this. So we'll address this at the March meeting. Plumbing repair outside of 627. We now have two different quotes, one from Craftsman, one from Da Vinci. And I believe the Craftsman quote is about half of the one from Da Vinci. And Craftsman has already cleaned out that clean out. They unblocked the clean out. They know the problem. They know what it's going to take. Jim and I and Jim offered to do it, and I would have been his muscle. We've since had a change of heart. This is something that we probably should leave to a professional plumbing organization. So if that's the case, I'm gonna ask for approval, since this is a $2,158 expenditure. It would obviously come out of the maintenance budget, but does anyone have any questions or further discussion on this? It is a perennial problem up at that unit. It is a clean out that gets blocked because of a V kind of joint that
It's almost like a flap.
like a flapper. So it needs to be resolved because every X number of months, it affects 2 units where water has to be shut off. Plumber called in, cleaned out, and it's going to happen again in the future. So I'd like to get it repaired without Jim's knowledge and my muscle. Is there any questions about this proposal? In that case, I would ask for a motion to approve the craftsman bid and get them scheduled in here to do that work. Is there a second to that motion? Seconded by John Barrowman. Thank you. Is there any further questions or discussion from the board? Anyone have any questions or comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chrissy. We can schedule craftsman. Thank you.
I know.
Very happy, very happy, very, very happy to hear you say that. Okay. New business. All right. So we had an annual backflow inspection about 10 days ago. They came through, they found 8 different repairs to 8 different backflows. These are all individual repairs. They are all less than $1,000. I think we should just go ahead and have these things repaired. It affects our irrigation and drip line systems. So I don't know that we need a vote on this. It's just normal repair. Or do we need a vote to proceed?
I have a question.
Hold on one sec.
Contacted me. Same for each one. And the city had never let us know that, or at least not let us, Scotia know that they were required to accept annual main. We just thought of the main back, which is why this is kind of spur of the moment. We've got to get someone out there to get this. And that's going forward.
Great. Just to dot the i's and cross the t's, since there are 8 different repairs, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with it's not craftsman, it's the actual inspector that is going to do the repair, right? It is a bit, but
Can I ask a question?
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
I didn't forget. So you attach these 8 invoices at the back of the packet from who's it from?
Annual backflow certification.
Yes. I just am curious, and maybe it's simple, but why are they doing additional trip for each visit?
You have inspection team, they come out and they do the inspections. And a lot of times,
I can't hear you.
So a lot of times what will happen is they will already have pre-approval from whoever they're doing these inspections for. And they have usually the parts and everything they need in order to do the repair. So because they had to do the inspection, send us everything and then come back out again later, it's just like an hourly labor charge is what it is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I know there was concern that this is a conflict of interest. I do understand. I just want to reassure you, that this is a company we use for almost all of our communities. So they have a great reputation. They are well renowned. And we have not had any issues so far with them being incorrect or overturned. However, if the board is concerned, I can always block it.
I was not focused on what your question was.
Does anybody else?
That was my, that's the very first thing I said to Chrissy, and when I heard her explanation, it makes sense to me that he would do the repairs. There seems to be a in our, our normal course of getting bids that there would be some sort of conflict of interest, but apparently this is a practice throughout the city.
One other question, if we had given authority for him to click on the spot, would that help them? Customers do it?
Yeah, so there's a lot of times they'll have like a contracted service where they're allotted to carte blanche to go ahead and repair as soon as they find it.
Yeah, I asked him about that, and he was, he said, oh, no, we don't do that.
They don't do the repair right after.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of.
So I don't know if he would know what associates typically does in a lot of our communities, but there is an agreement you can have with the company. He may not have been aware, but at the same time, I do advise that you get these estimates, you see what the problem is. Well, I think that's always good, a good stopgap between the inspection and the repairs. So I tend to not sign I like the information.
I think of the two scenarios of I'm here to inspect, I found something, I'm going to fix it, it costs you $1,200, or here's my inspection report. The repair is $1,200. I prefer the second. So with that, again, I call each of the less than $1,000 want to formalize the procedure. So, I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I keep forgetting all about you folks. Yes,
All
Colleen.
right, so,
Yeah, Colleen.
and help me remember, because I don't really remember. But in the past, we have had a company that did our backflow inspections and our repairs. Is there a reason we didn't contact that company as well? Because it's not the company that you are now presenting to us.
So previously, when being back out, we were using a pump, and they're certified to do those tests repairs as well. But the feedback in fact, there were 20 or so of these.
And I definitely understand the timeline thing. I guess my suggestion would be next year, because we're going to have to do these inspections all the time, we actually get more than one bid, because in total, it is more than $1,000.
So I will say typically you don't really end up having luck. May about for a sole company where they are certified to do those inspections, certified to typically would go out. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more time.
Right, which is why I understand this year.
But I would suggest for your
I would suggest.
Can people use microphones? We can't hear.
Yes, the comment was, for something of this scope, Chrissy, associate would recommend a larger company to handle, the volume of backflows and subflows that we have to inspect and repair.
I have no idea.
Go back.
One plug in the corner, you told me the other day not gonna have water, and I'm going, when in turn on, I'll open the water.
Thank you, Alfonso.
Oh, sorry, Bridget, here.
Just a quick, are these 8 all from this year, or is this from last year?
This is an annual inspection that hasn't been done in quite some time.
We had one that wasn't connected to the, we were connected.
No,
It's not right. It was done in 2022.
Yeah, well, that's quite some time. That's 3 years ago.
We didn't do 2023. That was when, right around the time when you guys came to us. There was a lot of discussion with the borough trying to figure out what was happening with all of those subflows. So during the transition and where that information kind of got lost, it was never, reported to us that we were supposed to continue. And I contacted the city and they said, no, we only have one on file for you. So that was why we did the main one, and we made sure that your main one was tested. And also, I will say we have an in-house test backflow certified testing team that will come out and do your backflow test for $70 each backflow. So they can do that as well, and then they can always send out the team if there's repairs if one of them failed to find out what's the issue. Another route.
I like that option as well.
Yeah.
But for right now, given the state that we're in, or the point that we're in terms of wanting to be able to irrigate without any issues, I think we're kind of handcuffed, and I want to go forward with all of these repairs so that we can ensure that everything works properly. So, to dot every I and to cross every T, I'd ask somebody to make a motion to move forward with all 8 backflow repairs. Tatiana, is that a motion to approve? Is there a second? The motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Is there any questions or comments from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you.
I just want to make sure that everybody, in case you're wondering, all of the invoices together, you're looking at $3,335.61 for the repairs in total.
Okay, next item under the new business is the manual sprinkler, which is a drip line system upgrade or automation. I did ask Hector if he and one of his brothers would be interested in bidding. I have not heard back from him, which is why I've not communicated anything to you, Chrissy. Okay. I believe that you said you had at least one company interested in looking at it.
I did.
Okay.
That was Santa Rita. And after our conversation,
After
our conversation on gathering, it's not a route you want to take.
Sure.
So I have since asked them, or basically said thank you.
Okay, but I thought you said earlier one of the landscaping companies.
2 that you're going to meet and do a walk. They will look and they will bid on those walks.
Okay, great, perfect. Okay. So we're not quite ready to move forward with that, although it has to be done very, very soon.
Yeah, I would like to keep it on the agenda under the unfinished business going forward. That way we don't lose track of it.
And just so everybody knows, and I don't want this to be a long run, Santa Rita recommended replacing our entire cast iron pipe system throughout the entire community.
From the wellhead.
We're obviously not going to do that. All right, the RO land. Oh, sorry. The question is whether or not the drip line system is being operated. The answer is conditional. It should be being operated. Yes, it should be on a regular basis. Matt Martinez has a schedule. He should be opening and closing those valves manually on a regular basis twice a week. If it's not being done, you let Louise know. Okay. I know that it is being done in some because we have to go and turn them off at night. They forget to turn them off. I know.
Before they go to turn on the water around it. I said, no, have to go to take it out. Because, and then when you finish with the sprinklers, they go this week, they can go and open the water.
The priority right now is the lawn irrigation. I think we'll have to suffer through this week if it means sacrificing them turning on the flower beds in the drip line system this week. After that, it should be back on schedule.
Also, they're doing the spraying.
10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't know, they are spraying. They spray a half and a half not. What is the reason to
Oh, yeah. And you can't hear anything if they don't have a microphone. Finally, Mike Rom or somebody said something. Is that me? I thought it was muted.
You weren't muted, but fortunately I didn't hear it. Okay.
Oh, and when they spray, you know the problem, no? They are spray here, they are weak there and there and there, and they not spray down here. Why they spray, not how to spray everything?
Yeah, no.
Inefficiency and ineptness are the main reasons why I think we need to replace
Have the key to do it, but it's turned off at the main control.
at the backflow.
Yeah.
He's turn off the backflow because this one valve under the ground leak all the time. They not repair. But we have to repair maybe tomorrow or Wednesday.
Then it would be on all the time. I can turn, okay. Because I can do our entire clock.
So I just want to make sure that if you're doing Alfonso, you said you were doing a repair on a backflow for a leak valve underneath? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
Okay.
And I can repair all I was doing. No,
Alfonso, what may I ask? What, if any, is your follow up with these guys? What are we doing?
No, we let you handle that.
Yeah, this is an ongoing. Alfonso's mandate this week is to instruct and train Martinez and his crew on getting the lawn irrigation system 100% operational. That means controllers, that means sprinklers, means every aspect of the system. And Alfonso is going around and showing them where things are, how they work, where repairs have to be made, and supervising any repairs. So there's sprinkler heads. This is part of our agreement with Alfonso, and he will be submitting an invoice for this. Because Alfonso is gone next week for how many weeks? 1 month. Okay, so this is a very critical week, and Alfonso knows what has to be done. Martinez has been told that basically Alfonso is going to help him all week long, and that's what's going to happen. And Jim's very involved as well.
No, this special job.
don't talk to any of them.
All right.
I got it.
Okay, let's keep this moving because we're still under 2 hours, believe it or not. So the next item, so the manual drip line system bids are ongoing, and we'll get those. And I think what we're going to have to probably do is have a special, either a special meeting or an email vote on the bids as they come in, because we can't wait too much longer. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Suggest that the board make.
No. Sorry, Mike. Turn up the volume on my laptop. Okay, if you insist.
They know the answer to this. If we and
Mike, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Notice when we have to get that.
Because I was saying something and nobody could hear me, and there's a couple of us talking.
It could have been a crosstalk on microphone interference. I don't know, but you're fine. We can hear you fine. So next item, I think we've already addressed this, the spider mite removal. We're going to take a look at whether or not we can do that ourselves rather than pay $2,000.
Okay, do we just leave it table until that?
Table for right now. Any other new business?
Jay, a couple
Yes,
of
Ed.
questions. On the spider mite removal, we do it ourselves when we cut the cost, but I want to see if for some reason that doesn't solve it. We ended up spending more money than we set it done professionally.
Yeah, so the solution apparently is soapy water. Well, that, we're going to have to get all those details. But it should not be a huge expense, especially since you're looking at the labor.
That's good. And then one other question, just as a matter of order. Have we approved Alfonso's costs associated with, I don't know if he's volunteering or if they're.
We have not, so here's what I've told Alfonso. No, so until we get a decision on what our landscaping approach is going to be, we're going to get bids. We're going to select a company. That's all part of the overall landscaping budget. Until I get that in place, I'm treating Alfonso's work this week as ad hoc paid outside the scope of a formal agreement with him. So he'll submit an invoice for his hours this week. But until we get the landscaping company decision here and know how much that's going to cost us, I can't really move forward with an agreement with Alfonso because it's got to be within the budget.
Right. But I think we probably need a formal.
And that's no, that's true as well, and that should be addressed in executive session. Open session. Okay, that's all right. I get that. All right. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to wait until we get bids and on our landscaping contract? I mean,
So, not trying to be difficult.
No,
I know watch first things. So, getting the bids and getting things in place are going to be a couple of months. So, I think we probably should discuss what the total impact of that might be if Alfonso is going to be in place for 2 or 3 months at whatever that hourly rate is times X number of hours per month. Just to understand what that looks like, because more than likely our landscape costs are going to be higher. Plus, we'll probably have to add trash on top of that, and suddenly we're in this really huge expense.
To add to that, to moderate a little bit, and that is that if you brought in the landscaping company earlier than 2 months, we have those costs anyway. In other words, pushing back the landscaping, reducing our landscaping costs. Not really.
But you're still paying for your current company.
Oh, yeah, sorry, quite right.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so round numbers, I know that we, put, 175,000 in the budget for landscaping. We're currently paying Martinez 140, less. 136, 138,000. Okay. Anyone know, have a more precise number? That's what is in the contract. We have not increased that amount in 2 years.
You have to remember also, he has finished paying off the truck, so you now have an additional $500 a month that you are paying that bill.
I'm not talking about what we're physically paying. I'm talking about his contractual. Yeah, yeah. Worst case, it's no more than 140,000.
30 days, 133, 320.
Okay, so we have a quote unquote buffer, if you will, of 40K.
You got the trash.
At that trash, which we're getting bids from Titan, I believe. Great.
Company who's going to do door-to-door service is going to be difficult. So that's one of the things that I'm.
We did have one.
Yeah, we had Titan.
Yeah, and that's why I went back to Titan to see if they'd be willing to provide it another bid. The only response I've gotten so far is that they're a little hesitant to provide another bid since they were fired.
Right.
So, but they're looking into it. So again, I asked them and I made sure that everybody I'm asking to bid for, that they understand we're also looking to see if they're able to provide door-to-door service.
And Jill Hero, I believe, sent me an email. It's a different community that has the same in-ground, they have a service. I'll forward that information on to you. Oh, with that? No, never mind. With that. Yeah.
And if the truck's coming down,
Yeah.
then that long-term goes back to the problem.
Did they previously have a large truck come in to take care of the dumpster? They didn't, okay. So then they're already aware of that, and I'll make sure that any other companies that we go, are aware of this.
Okay, so getting back to the question of can we afford Alfonso in addition to our landscaping company? Here's the way I see it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Alfonso is obviously extremely knowledgeable, very professional, very dedicated. He's going to be here this week, and then he's gone for a month.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Jay, I don't think it's a question of whether or not
I'm getting to the point.
it's just a matter of narrowing down, but what is the number that you'd like us to find?
That's why I'm getting to the point. So, when you said, hiring Alfonso, it's not a 52-week per year, position.
Nothing is.
Okay. So what the gentleman's agreement we have right now, Alfonso, is 20 hours per week at $50 per hour. Correct? Right. So that's the number that we would be looking at for this week, definitely for this week, and for the future, provided it can be done in accordance with the budget.
Okay, so I'm going to make a suggestion. The suggestion I have is creating a simple document that just says, we, the HOA, are offering this amount to Alfonso. It's signed by both parties. The agreement is X amount of dollars for X amount of hours, depending on needs. And then as the invoices are submitted for work that was actually completed, they can be brought forward to the board and approved by the board and then done as a reimbursement. And then that way it's done on a case by case, based on what you need, when he was available and so forth. But that way that the community and the HOA both know that it's never going to exceed X amount.
Okay. You follow that?
Yeah, I follow that, but you think so the grass and everything going to wait and
No, but you're gone.
No,
For the next month.
I think just for now.
Yeah,
For now, it's the important.
for this week, you
For
mean?
this week.
Yeah, don't worry
Oh, no.
No, that's fine. So whatever was done prior to that, you just submit it and the board will
nothing has been done
approve.
prior to that, to to today.
No work has been done in the first day.
Today's the first day.
Document is created and signed. Anything that was done prior to that, you would just submit and we would do it as a reimbursement to a homeowner. Like just like that. And that's no problem. I'm going to get board approval anyway, because it's already been discussed that he's been doing the work and it was agreed upon. But because you don't have that document in place yet, it's going to be considered a homeowner reimbursement for time and materials and whatnot. The same way we do it with Jim, the same way we do it with Joe. For reimbursement. It's for any materials that they had to purchase out of pocket. We reimburse later after the purchase is made with those receipts.
I think you get, but you know that.
Thanks, Louise.
What's the next step?
So it sounds like the next step is, and he worked.
You can't afford not to. Let's figure it out.
It really,
Well, I just want to, so this, for the record, people are going in, like November timeframe, if we're over budget, people are going to say, why don't we cut back? So I want to make sure this conversation was had.
yeah,
So that people understand this is why these things happen.
Yeah.
So I'll actually do a motion that we approve up to 20 hours a week, it's $50 an hour, not to exceed 3 months, with board approval weekly based on invoices submitted by Alfonso. I'm not opposed to it. I just want people to understand it, because I'm the one that gets the hit. When people are, why did you do this? Why
well,
did you do that?
absolutely, Ed, and part of that is what I kind of force-fed everybody with hiring Hector last year. It was, I believe, total of $16,000. What would we have spent had we not hired Hector and all of our plants around our building died? Maybe a little bit more than that. So I think it was a good decision, but yeah, we went over budget in part because of that hiring of Hector. So a motion's been made, 20 hours per week at $50 per hour, not to exceed 3 months. Invoices approved on a, what did you say, weekly basis by the board?
Okay, so the only thing is, I was saying, he will work more than 20 hours this week just to get things back. So you need to have some language in there that,
As needed.
as needed, might increase. And it's only because he's gone then. for a
Right,
month.
right. So I'll make a friendly amendment to make it as needed.
Okay. All right, that motion's been made. Is there a second to that motion? Motion made and seconded. Are there any questions or further discussion by the board? Is there anything, input from the public? I keep forgetting about the folks online. I don't see anything. There are 2 chats there. Want to go take a look at the chat? Yeah, if you can do that.
You do it.
Just to see if there are questions. You click on the chat at the bottom of the screen. That
Yeah.
might be Mike Brown's previous question about.
He couldn't hear.
Jay, you need to turn your laptop audio up. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay,
Yeah, that's it.
that's it. Great. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Are there any opposed? The motion passes. Okay, I believe, is there any other items of new business? Thanks, Ed, for bringing that up. I'm glad that we got that resolved, at least for the time being.
I have the keys for the shed number 85 that has been vacated.
Oh, yeah.
They did. This is the one that was up that they had for the lottery.
Okay.
So this is up for lottery whenever you are able to schedule that.
I think, who do we? The secretary. A lottery for a carport for anyone that wants an extra parking space and storage unit. We can look it up.
That was
the joint effort between Susan and I, and it was an utter fail. So, I'm going to go back through the history and see how it has been done previously, and we'll go from there.
Great. Yes. Doesn't have units? No. He has two. Okay. Any other new business? I haven't even thought about that. Okay, we're gonna move on to the public forum, and since I'm so verbose, everyone left. Now,
Yeah.
is there anything that anyone wants to bring up, public forum? We did have 12 people online. We've even decreased that down to 4. So, next meeting date is March 24th. And if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Ed, seconded by Susan Vance. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Great, thank you. We now need to move into executive session, which I hope will be quick.